This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement, the Cape May Star and Wave, the Herald, on the Township website, and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad? Here. Councilmember Neville?
Here.
Councilmember Simonson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Here.
Mayor Beck?
Here. Before we begin the work session tonight, we have the pleasure of swearing in two new officers, Michael Imes and Louis Bartleson. I'm going to do a quick readout of some of the background of these fine young men here. Let the township know who we're hiring. Officer Michael Imes is 26 years old, a lifetime resident of Lower Township, married to Krista James. It's Krista Imes. Sorry, the eyes are going in. Gave you a new name. Who will pin on the badge, and son Easton Imes. Officer Imes has been a Class 2 officer with the Lower Township Police Department since 2006. And he was the recipient of the Merit Award and third overall in his graduating class. Congratulations on that. The other officer, Officer Louis William Bartleson Jr., is 32 years old, a lifetime resident of Lower Township. He is a U.S. Navy veteran. He's married to Kelly Bartleson, who will be pinning on his badge, and he's accompanied by his daughter Sophia and son Barrett. We're going to start with Officer Imes first. Would you step forward? The council would join me, and if the police department would come on up front so we can... This is it. Everybody's got to face the camera. You guys got to... Come on in here. Let me get my style. Come on and join the crowd. Your family. Face the camera. Repeat after me. Get my glasses on. I will see them.
I, Michael Imes Jr.,
Swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
of police officer
in
in the Township of Lower,
the Township of Lower,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Would you now please pin the badge on the new officer?
There you go. Welcome aboard. Stay safe out there. Looks good.
It's on. We're good.
Good luck. Don't run away now. Officer Louis William Bartleson. Family, please step forward. I, Louis Bartleson, swear
swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of police officer
of police officer
in the Township of Lower,
and the Township of Lower,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Kelly, will you now please pin the badge on?
It is his day. She knows that, right? Yeah, he's a big day. You're pretty proud of Daddy, right? Yeah. Put her on the microphone.
Here, hand it up.
Daddy has a tie on, right? Make him wear it at home, too. Just like mine. That's all righty. Chief, you got a few words you want to say?
Rock it out here. No, thank you all for coming tonight. No, it's truly an honor to be up here tonight with you two officers graduating at Police Academy. I want to accommodate you on your hard work and effort and your sacrifice that you put in for your families dealing with you not being there. It was a residential police academy. It was 22 weeks long. It's truly an honorable job. I want to let you both know that. Remember the oath you took today. Carry that with you every day. When you put that uniform and that badge on, remember, not only are you upholding the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, but the Constitution of the United States of America. Be proud of what you do. Everybody's going to be watching. You know, do the best job you possibly can. I look forward to working with both of you, and I'll give you all the support in the world. Thank you very much.
Move down now to work session. The good manager will do the budget message.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me congratulate the two new officers. We know you did well in the academy, and we hope you just stay safe. Get home to your families each and every day. I am pleased to announce to the council and the people here tonight about the 2014 budget, proposed municipal budget. Last year, we had a tax increase of 2.9 cents. This year, I'm pleased to report there will be a zero increase. Now, that is how the budget will compare to 2013 to 2014. The township took a proactive step and completed a complete reassessment of all township properties. Now, I know a lot of people got those cards in the mail this weekend to see their new property values. The results is a decrease in rateables of $4,871,828. The decrease in rateables will produce a local municipal tax of 53.5 cents. Some of the budget highlights, the appropriations, there was an increase in emergency appropriation of $200,000 for health insurance. A special emergency appropriation, this is for the reassessment program over a 4-year period of $37,000 a year. Health insurance, $378,498, and only a minor increase of $35,852 salaries. Decreased revenues for uncollected taxes, $367,236. Revenue increase of $387,000. Fund balance, the township had a good financial year, allowing a greater use of fund balance. We had a record year of 98.3%, the best collection rate in 23 years. The tax levy for 2014 will be $19,260,417.97. compared to 2013 of $19,222,668.12, just an increase of $37,749.85. The budget is within the 2 state caps. There's no one-time items in this budget. This budget will not harm the financial future of the township. Prior steps that were taken by this council have paid off, as salaries have only increased by the $35,852, which is 0.36%. Respectfully submitted to you this date. The budget introduction is February 19th. Public hearing will be April 23rd.
Council comments?
Good job. April 21st, isn't it?
What'd you say?
April 21st, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it's a Wednesday, the 23rd, because Monday's a holiday.
Easter
Yes, I think it's something to do with Easter, but I know it's a holiday that Monday. But the new contracts, Mayor, Council, that you guys approved in the past, where police officers were starting at $47,500, the starting salary started at $33,000, bringing things into the economics of today. Same with the Public Works Department, where they were starting around $45,000 and change, starting now at $30,000 a year. All the operating expenses of all departments that I control are staying the same as they have for the last few years. We've reduced in utilities everywhere as we can by converting these buildings to all natural gas. And of course, you know, we reduced our inspectors' vehicles to the more economical vehicles over the last couple of years. But the 98.3% collection rate, I compliment the collector's office, their staff for a great job, and Lauren Reed for her financial frugalness over the year to keep us all in check.
You guys, comments? All right? I would just like to talk briefly about the tax assessment. When we saw what had taken place at the end of last year, this would be 2012, and we saw the hole that was created in our budget by the tax appeals, this township took a proactive step and immediately, like emergency, went towards a reassessment. Now, the reassessment total cost is probably about $175,000 to $200,000. We're still kicking that around a little bit. Had we been saddled with a reval, you would have had somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million. Our tax map alone would have had to be redone. It would have cost us $500,000 for that, and the number of line items probably would have put us at about 1.4 for a reval, a total reval. We would have had to bond, hire a firm. It would have been horrible. By moving as quickly as we did, because we were under the gun, we only had a certain time frame to get this done before the validity of our tax map expired. And to his credit, Art Amonette and his band of Murray workers worked diligently. Many times I came in here on Saturday and Sunday because it's quiet, I can get some things done, and they would be in here. They'd be going out on the street. But it's one of those things in government, had we not done it, we'd be sitting here now and we'd be discussing that we're currently bonding, $2 million to do this. And it would have been ugly, but nobody would have really known that we headed this off at the pass in a certain way. And it's this council and this township that did that. And I think, we didn't want to get hit with we didn't anticipate the drop in housing market that did go. And the other corollary to that is if we had not done that, what happened last year that generated a 2.9 was the fact that some people had filed tax appeals, so their taxes went down. In order to balance our budget, we had to raise the remaining people's taxes to meet that loss. If we had not gotten this tax appeal or this tax assessment or reassessment done in time, we would have been faced with the same situation this year. We would have had a slew of tax appeals, which would have crippled our budget, and we'd be sitting here telling you the same thing we said last year. We can't help it. People are appealing their taxes, and they are winning those appeals because obviously the market went down. But because we immediately went and took the imbalance and did all of the homes and brought the other homes that had not filed tax appeals through reassessment at the same level as everybody else, you now have a fair sharing of the burden of the tax situation. So there was a lot of pluses, and it was really hard, and we had to fly to get this through the state in order to get it on the books for the start of this year. I'm just saying it's one of those things that's just a blip in the screen. If we had not gotten this through, and to his credit, Art Eminette, did a lot of the yeoman work on this, and to his credit, we did get it through. And I think it's just one of those things that needs to be said, because I think that, if it hadn't been done, we'd be up here and it would be brutal this year. And thanks to Lauren on behalf of all of council, because I see what she does every day in there trying, you can't get anything by Lauren. So we appreciate everything that she does in there. And all of our workers, they understand. I mean, it's tough out there. We had an opening for a secretary. How many people applied? Like 40, something.
More than that.
Yeah.
They've applied online, and Eileen has a stack that she's going through preparation for interviews.
It's tough out here. We have to hold the line in-house, but your heart bleeds for a lot of people that are in trouble out there. So, all right, anyway, that's the state of the state. I think it looks pretty good, and we'll move down to the consent agenda. Is there any council comments or questions on the consent agenda? Okay, we'll open up the public comment on the consent agenda. This gentleman in the front. Yes, sir.
Good evening, council, ladies, solicitor, township manager. On the consent agenda, just a question on 2014-55. I'd like to explain what the litigation of Town Bank Manor LLC versus Local Township as far as the $3.9 million. Is there a change from last year in addition to it, or the assessment? Exactly what is that on that?
Okay, they correct me if I'm wrong. Are you ready for this one? You just back me up if I go, or do you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
The total assessment for the year 2012 was 4.885 million.
So actually you lowered it this year to 3.9.
This is a multi-year agreement. There were multiple appeals. So 2012 was adjusted to 4.4 million. 2013 was also adjusted to 4.4 million. And there's an agreement that the assessment for the year 2014 will be 3.9.
And how many years would that be for?
Just for 2014.
2014.
The Freeze Act does not
It did
apply.
decrease, is what you're saying, just like the assessments for a township that
Yes.
changed. So the difference is between 3.9 and 4.2.
It did decrease, that's correct.
Okay, so we lost some ratables in that period of time on that issue.
Right. What you have here is exactly what I was referring to. They were paying 4.8 million, and they filed a tax appeal. And what you have is a situation where if we had not done the reassessment, now there'll be 3.9 going forward from here on out. But look at the revenue we would have lost, taxable revenue, had we not done the reassessment at this point and put them, and got everybody online, dropped everybody's at the same time. So it's kind of hard to explain, but at 3.9, they probably will be, because their value dropped about from 4.8, 15% or something like that. So the hit to us economically will not be as hard because we did the reassessment.
When you come down to it, actually, their tax ratables would just be about the same.
Their tax bill will be probably a little bit less than it was, but not as much
Not as much.
if we hadn't done the reassessment,
All right,
okay?
okay.
Because your tax rate by definition has to go up.
It has to go up as long as the budget goes up. The budget.
Now, the budget's not going up. It's not the budget that's going up. It's the equivalent, if you have a $300,000, if I need $6,000, let me just see if you follow this.
Go ahead.
Suppose I need $6,000 and your house is worth $300,000. I get 2% of that, that gives me $6,000. But suppose your house drops $100,000 and you're now at $200,000. Well, I get 3% of that. So you increase the tax rate, but you're getting the same money.
All right.
Okay, that's what we're trying to say. The rate is not the issue here. What the issue is spending. So you're not, now some people will see the people who got breaks before are more likely, not certain, but more likely to see a slight increase. The people who already had their taxes appeals heard and successfully heard will probably see an increase. The people who did not and get on board with that and who saw the tax increase last year will probably see it remain the same or go a little bit lower.
So all in all, when they come down to it, the budget just about stay the same, or?
Yes, the spending part.
There's no increase on it?
Right.
So that part's okay. So that, bringing that in line with everything else is actually what you did.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Is there any other questions in relationship to the consent agenda? Close the public portion.
Approval of the New Jersey State Fireman's Membership Application for Robert J. Hewitt Jr. for the Town Bank Volunteer Fire Department. Approval of minutes from January 22nd, 2014. And resolution number 2014-54 through resolution 2014-60.
Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Regular agenda.
Please.
Resolution number 2014-61. This is an appointment to the Municipal Utilities Authority.
Okay, with council's permission, I would like to open it up to the public and get their comments. Do you have any problem with that? Anybody? Eric, you okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
So we'll open up the public comments on the MUA appointment resolution 2014-61. If you have a comment, step forward, and then council can do what they want to do. Yes, sir.
Don Ems, North Cape May. I would like to present you, council and the manager, with these group of petitions that have been signed by the taxpayers and ratepayers of Lower Township. In this petition, we're asking that you consider not reappointing existing people at the MUA and that we get a fresh start down there. It's a rather lengthy petition, but if you may read the entire petition, but there are a couple hundred, maybe 500 signatures there.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to address council? Yes, sir.
I'd like to call upon this council,
Ed Butler, for the record, I'm sorry.
Ed Butler from the Villas. By now you know me. All right. The reason I come up here tonight was to bring this out to the public itself and to the ratepayers and taxpayers. Everything has been one-sided so far as what's going on at the MUA. This council has been brought into this as far as trying to straighten out what's happened down there with the board of directors. The board of directors is an independent situation which should be taking care of these conditions. Even with this petition and all, what's happened there and being in the legal process, as our solicitor would know, when you're into that, nothing should be disturbed and changed until there comes a result from the prosecutor's office of what happened and what didn't happen, and brought it out, and either make charges or don't make charges to the board or not to the board. That's when the council should be able to step in. I don't think that's happened yet, has it, as far as our solicitors? Has anything came across to this committee?
As far as I know, the Kingman County Prosecutor's Office is still conducting their investigation, and I understand it will be a fairly lengthy investigation, a thorough investigation.
So it's still in the process. So with that, what I'm suggesting to this committee, that they leave things status quo till this happens. And if anybody is guilty of any malfeasance or any problems down there, then they can be charged and prosecuted or whatever. If they're not, they should be cleared. And the whole situation should be more or less done at that time, one way or the other. And this council, I think and hope that they would go that way and just let that happen until it happens, and then make a decision, who you want to put in, who you want to change, or right down the line. But I think a lot of this really should be more or less going to the end of this term of whatever the results are from the prosecutor's office. I think he's the key to it, what happens and who's responsible, who's not responsible. If there were problems down there, they should be taken care of. And this council, I hope they would go along those lines. That's all I have to say. And you have any questions on that? But I consider it and think about it. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to address council?
I'd like to comment, Mr. Butler, and I appreciate your sentiment, but there's obviously it's been proven there are problems there, obviously, there was an arrest made. Like our solicitor said, this could be a lengthy process. You know, could be months, it could be years. You know, the term is up, and I think the you know, moving forward is if they come down with charges, they're going to make charges against whoever is responsible, regardless. And you know, when you have a chance to take a step in a new direction, I think that it should be taken advantage of.
But do you realize when that happens, if you make a change, whoever you're making a change with, it's going to be more or less earmarked that you did something wrong and you're out there because we have no faith in you to continue with
No, it's the appointment's up. So the term is up.
We're not removing something.
See, I'm not looking to protect anybody, because if there was a mistake made there or there was something that wasn't right, either they should pay for it or not pay for it. Either you're guilty or you're not guilty.
Correct.
But when you make a change up front like that, and you're going to put somebody else in, which has no knowledge of what happened or what's going on, and you're taking somebody and replacing them, you're putting guilt on them because you have no faith in them.
Not necessarily. So if a president was going to be impeached at the end of his term, and his term was up, would you leave him in office?
All I'm saying is there should be a time frame on it, which you could put on there and say, until the prosecutor comes up with a decision on it, and this is what happened, then we'll make the change. Or you have 1 year from this time, and I don't think it'll be forever with the prosecutor's office. They are lengthy on some things. It takes a while for them, but I'm sure they will come to a solution whenever the time frame is. It might be a month from now, it might be 6 months from now. But in that period of time, you guys have the authority to make the change and do what you have to do at that time.
All right, thank you. We'll take it under advisement. We appreciate your concern. We do. I mean, we
consider it and see what comes out of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to address council? All right, we'll close the public portion. Council?
I still believe we should have Ward 3 represented on this board. There's 3 good candidates from Ward 3, which I'll be willing to support any of them. There's one I particularly like, one I don't think is going to get on, and there's another one I think, there's 2 of them that are well aware of what's going on at the MUA.
Okay.
We can't continue with what we're doing. This is an opportunity. We're not taking anyone off the board, but we can't, at the ethics meeting, they covered this towards the end. We cannot perpetuate what's going on down there. If we now say, I think we should get somebody new blood in there, but if we do it, we're perpetuating what's happening, and at that point, in my opinion, the council is now possibly going to be held liable because we're putting the same problem. We're not holding this against him. We're just saying, we do know he's named in one of the investigations, there's problems down there, and if he's cleared, he can reapply in a year. But to hold off on say that we're going to hear on until the investigation's over, it's a 5-year term. It starts tomorrow, to Wednesday. So I would like Ward 3 to have somebody representing them.
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment or somebody, a specific person they wish to support?
Mayor, I've looked at all of these that have submitted applications. We've got a number of qualified people. I think we should just appoint the person who's got the best qualifications for this position. I'm impressed with Brian O'Connor's credentials. 16 years, a resident of the township, experienced at the county on many, many levels. He has worked with this township with regards to our Coxhall Creek systems. And when you look at this resume, I think this is the kind of person that we would want to consider for a position at the MUA. So I'm going to put forth his name for consideration as a nomination.
Well, with that being said, if we're looking at resumes, I believe Brian McEwing has a stellar resume as far as some of the things he's accomplished. I also have Mr. O'Connor works for the county, correct? For the planning department, is that right?
Right, I believe so.
And maybe I'm wrong, but don't they have some influence and power over where water and sewage is put in the township?
He doesn't work for the MUA.
Doesn't matter, it's still the planning.
Well, you know,
Would that be,
let me just say,
well, I'm asking the solicitor, would that be direct conflict?
I'm not going to comment on the internal structure of the Cape May County government. I'm not versed in it enough to give you a good answer. If the county is an independent utility authority, it's very much like ours. It's an independent entity. It's autonomous. So the extent anyone can exercise influence over them would have the same issues that we face here with our own municipal utilities authority. So what the interaction and interplay is between the planning board and the county MUA, I just don't know.
All right. Well, I mean, to me, it seems like it would be a conflict. I know, and I believe, doesn't the planning department receive federal funding?
Again, I don't know what the...
Well, if they do, then that would also be a direct conflict with this appointment. You know, and in regards to Mr. O'Connor, he's obviously, you know, his resume is impressive, and it's no nothing against him, but I'd hate to see us do something up here. We talked about at the last meeting that you know, would be illegal in any way, shape, or form, or obviously be not the best practice moving forward.
I don't know about the issue of the federal money, but I know this. In the years that I've been here, I've dealt with him significantly, many times. I've called him. I'll be honest with you, when we had problems, like with the Coxhall Creek area, he'd be the first guy I called. I have a lot of respect for what he does up at the county, and I value his opinion. And in fact, we had him come down here and meet with us. I don't know if Gary's here. I guess it was a couple months ago, just about the S-curve over in Coxhall. He brought all his maps down, which were very enlightening. He's done significant work. Now, it's not water and sewer, per se, but he's done significant work on the flooding issues we have in Coxhall Creek. I would love to have him on board down there. I don't know about the other things and whether he's precluded from being part of this in any way, shape, or form, but I think that he would be an awesome addition as a board member down there.
Well, again, I'm not, you know, I'm not refuting his you know, his resume or the work he's done. I want to make sure that we're talking about going forward with best practices. And
Well, Eric, if I may, the county planning department was in charge of the 208 water quality program, which is where the sewerability of the county was done. And I was at the health department in the 80s. The mapping was completed, and it was probably before Brian Connor moved into the county. If I'm correct, the county planning board is funded by the county, not federal funds. There may be a different opinion. We have the human resources director, I believe, from the county there. Can you add anything to this?
They do receive federal funding, federal grant funding.
Federal grant funding?
Correct.
And is it involved with sewer mapping and or ability to?
I don't know that.
So.
Well, again, I'm not, well, all I'm saying is, you know, we're talking about best practices moving forward, and if someone is in direct conflict with, you know, the appointment that they're, you know, that they would have, and if they do receive federal funding, I mean, I know of, which, you know, is illegal, so I just want to make sure.
All right, thank you. We have, you know, any other comments or questions from council? We have a nomination from council.
I nominate Brian O'Connor.
I'll second it.
We're going to do it for you.
Councilmember Conrad,
Based on the fact he doesn't live in Ward 3, no.
Councilmember Neville,
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson,
No.
Deputy Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes. Okay. Move down now to council.
Resolution number...
Oh, we got another one, right? I'm sorry.
Resolution number 2014-62. It's amending Resolution 2013-286, which is the award of contract to Wines Consulting LLC.
Okay. Council questions on this contract for Wines Consulting. Are there any public comments on the wines, the resolution for 2014-62? Ah, yes. Are you coming up, sir?
Yes, I am.
That's a shock. Come on up here.
I've been here so much I should just...
Well, we still need your name.
You know, my name is Ed Butler.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, I want to know why.
Why? Okay, here's what happened.
Explain to me the difference between before and now.
We were so poor last year.
Oh, we got rich all of a sudden. I
No, we
guess I
didn't.
paid my dues.
That's probably because you came back from Florida where you vacationed extravagantly. But what happened was we only paid him $5,000 of his contract last year, so that we
It
didn't.
was a partial payment.
It was a partial payment, so we're finishing it off this
So
year.
now we're paying the full
And
amount that we owe.
he was worth every penny.
I hope so.
I do too.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank you.
explanation.
Thank you.
And hopefully I'll see if I don't come up again.
You had your airtime, sir. All right, close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad,
Yes.
Councilmember Neville,
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson,
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Any comments or questions on the administrative reports? Move down to council comments. Mr. Tom.
A few years ago, we started talking about how we're going to make appointments. We've been talking about it off and on. Eric, when he got put on council Ward 2, he also brought it up. I think we need to revisit that to start getting a better idea of how we're appointing and what we're looking for. I do believe all wards should be well represented, and how we vet some of the candidates. They were all fine candidates, do not get me wrong. But we have to be looking at what we're doing. We've started doing it with the solicitor position. We've looked at, we've done it for a couple other things, but there's a lot of other positions, and we need to start looking at what positions are open, who's interested, and who's the best person for it. And we need to get a little bit proactive on that.
Thank you.
I can agree with that, and that's, I believe, what we did. And we tried to satisfy, and got somebody new on there. And I think, if I remember right, when Eric sat in this seat, he reappointed someone to their 4th term. So, with that said, that's all right. Anyways, the press on Wednesday had a nice article about the schools and the arts and the music. And Chris Kopik was quoted in there saying, they do make things different and keeps you connected to the school. And he felt that the music program was what kept him connected to the school. And he now has risen up to be the superintendent of the schools. Back to the school issue, if we lose funding for the school or we can't borrow because of this lawsuit from the KMA, it's really going to impact the schools. The amount of programs they're going to be able to offer are going to dwindle, and the whole community is going to be affected. And with that said, I want to make an announcement that the arts, they're always on display, all the arts, the last Thursday in May. But before then, the visual arts get hung at the library in March. And this Sunday at the Mad Batter, the high school kids are going to have their arts hanging between 3 and 5. And it's an opportunity where they get their work out into the public. And it's a good opportunity for them to feel good about what they can do and the amount of phenomenal artwork that's up there. And with that, Matt Caesar, probably one of the most famous athletes that came out of the Lower Cape Regional High School system, has a $1,000 scholarship that he gives to the school. And instead of it being for baseball, he has designated it to be someone who went through all 4 years of art. They don't have to be going to art school, but they have to go to 4 years of art. And that's from an athlete. That's because that's how much in connect he was with the arts. Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Art?
I agree with that. I mean, as someone who went through 4 years at the arts and actually got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in college and started in Lower Cape May and also coached the Caesars in wrestling, I think that is outstanding as usual from Matt. Now, I just have a few concerns and I'm a little confused. Last meeting we talked about going forward with best practice. The solicitor told me that if we made a selection last time, it would be null and void according to the Open Public Meetings Act. Upon further research, we've determined that is not true, that regardless, but we talked and he wants to move forward with having things on the agenda 48 hours ahead, even though in the past that has not been the practice. So with that being said, like I said, there is no law that says it has to be. And there's no law saying that last meeting an appointment would have been null and void. That's a fact. You can look it up. And then this week, there's a possibility of a conflict and maybe even an illegal appointment. The solicitor himself says he doesn't know, and we move ahead with it anyway. So I'm a little concerned sitting up here. And, I'm not up here to cause a ruckus or anything, but I like to, when I see something that's not right, I'm going to take care of it. And I believe that Ward 3 gets the short end of the stick every time. First of all, we pay the most rates, we pay the most taxes. Now we do not even have representation on the MUA board. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I just want to...
And I love you all.
Thank you. I believe we're all trying to do what's right and best. That's the important thing. So speaking of doing what's right and best, we lost a pillar of the community this week in the person of Fred Cauldron. He was a citizen of Cape May, but he was a huge pillar in Lower Township, especially with the Boy Scouts. A number of us on council connected with scouting came to his funeral. And he was also a pillar with regards to the Naval Air Station Wildwood and Cold Spring Village. This was a man that just gave back all of his life and served our community in every way, always with a cheerful attitude. And he was taken early and surprisingly, and it was a heartbreak to this community. And I just wanted to say that we should look to people like Fred as examples of what we should aspire to be as citizens of this community. We'll miss you, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you for expressing that. I'm sure council, we all express it. We all knew Fred, and his loss is tragic for his family and for the entire community. As far as the MUA pick goes, yeah, I would like to put somebody from Ward 3 on there, but the only overriding concern was this guy, to me, was the best by far, and I'm putting him on there if I can do that.
Even if it's illegal?
Well, you know, let me just drop back. Thanks.
I'm just asking, all right?
Are you saying it is illegal?
No, I asked
Well,
the
then
solicitor, doesn't
let it
know.
go. If you prove it is, we'll take them off of there. But nobody in this building tonight, right here, right now, said that's an illegal pick. So he goes on. And maybe some people don't like that. Too bad. Okay, that's the way I sat. I picked the best person I thought for the community. He happens to come from Ward 2, fine. But I've worked with him, he's excellent. Okay, so we go down the line. Let's go to Cape Assist. I want to thank them for the conference they held on drug abuse and the prescription drug conference they had in Avalon the other day. And, you know, it was great that they continue to bring attention to it. And we haven't spoken on it in a little while here. And we need to talk again. Because what happened was we had a level of drug abuse that maybe about 3 years ago, it doubled. And it stayed kind of at that level now. And, you know, the amount of arrests that we've had and the amount of people that have requested rehabilitation, they mimic each other and are both at a certain level. We went skyrocketed and we kind of planed. And we've stabilized at a rate that's basically becoming the new normal, and it can't stay that way. It's unacceptable. There are other towns where it's continuing to go upwards, and maybe they need to look closer. I'm not in charge of those towns. We aren't. We're just sitting here saying that parents have got to step up. Parents have got to protect their kids. I mean, now there's great, you know, emphasis on this over what's happened with this actor, and I don't even know who the guy is, but he passed away apparently over the weekend from drugs, heroin, up in New York City. And I was watching the national news tonight, and the use of heroin in the past 5 years has doubled in this country. And it's becoming so much into our view that it's becoming normal. And at the same time, I'm not sure that, you know, we need to talk, because I mean, you've got a senator in New Jersey, north of here, that wants to legalize marijuana. And for the kids in school, there's a mixed message out there. And we need to find out what we're trying to do there. I've learned something. We need the police badly for the problems we have, the current people on drugs, to get them into rehabilitation and to help us stop the drug dealers and lock them up and get them out of here. But for the next generation, our rec department has stepped up mightily. And I'd like to bring Jim Ridgway and Mitch Plen to a council meeting to talk about some of the things that they've done. They've just been phenomenal. I know that a couple of the papers have done articles on it that have really highlighted it, but I think we need to really thank them for what they've done. This Tiger program, the Tiger Girls program they've had, if you haven't read about it, you have to listen to the work that they've done, and to go out and to raise funds and to get people to donate things. It didn't cost the township anything. And to develop the armor. And the armor is the sense of pride they put onto these young kids, so that they can turn down their best friends who say to them, why don't you try this? It's not going to be their enemies that will get them in trouble. It's their best friends. And they need to develop that pride, that sense of armor to move forward, so that they don't go into the system and become the object of having our police have to go after them and stuff. It's tough out there, but we need to keep constantly hammering it, and it needs to be brought up that the parents have to step up. They have to. There can be no Fourth Amendment in your house. You need to toss the cell. I mean, you need to go in there and make sure that what's in your kid's room is okay, and that they're not harming themselves. I mean, I wouldn't want to be raising young kids right about now, that must be tough, but at the same time, it's really, it's right in front of us now. And you're seeing the crest of this wave of this, and the stuff that's in there is so pure, the heroin, and it's laced with so much garbage out there. And Tom, you probably know more about it than even I do from your perspective.
Yes, and the lacing is, I mean, on the street, hopefully we're getting the police, are going to have Narcan soon. They're working on that, but some of this stuff that they're lacing with, Narcan's not going to do anything.
Right.
Once they're dead, they're dead.
And they have to be responsive, right? To put
No.
it, I think, don't they, to put it in their nose, if they have to be breathing?
You have to be breathing or someone breathing for them, I believe, just to get it started to go through the system. The medics are there, they can inject it, so get it in.
It's, ring the bell again. All right, do we have any other announcements?
Eileen.
Eileen's this Saturday.
Saturday.
Right? Give us the information, please, ma'am.
This Saturday, 6 to 10 at the Bayview, we're having a beef and beer for the New Jersey Run for the Fallen.
Okay, can everybody hear that? This Saturday at the Bayview, 6 to 10, a beef and beer for the Run for the Fallen. That's the Gold Star mothers and for the kids that were killed in the war.
Tickets are how much?
$20.
$20. Okay, that closes that part. We open up now the call to the public. If you wish to address council, this gentleman here. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, as long as you're talking about drugs, just one little thing is that I'm glad that the police have that drop box.
Yes, I'm glad you brought
We've
that
used
up.
that. My wife and I are like anti-pill takers, so we always end up with many leftover painkiller pills because they prescribe 20 of them. You stop after 2 or 3 and suffer and throw. We have a place to put them, which I did a week or 2 ago, and I'm glad of it.
Right.
Just make sure if you can, just make sure they don't stop having that. Now, the real reason I came was to express appreciation to the town for putting the assessed values online.
Yes, sir.
As you know, the green card tells you what your assessment is. It's not a secret. The thing that you don't get is the relative value, which is what's really important. Is mine more than somebody else's or less? And that was easily seen online, which is stated in the paper. And I'll tell you, what it did for me was give me more confidence in the validity or correctness of the values of the 24 houses that I happen to know about, enough to make a judgment. I mean, my house, I had had a successful challenge, so mine was low, mine came up, not that much, but I did, all the values I saw in the houses I lived near seemed quite reasonable. So I think, firstly, it was a good idea to do it. Thank you to whoever's idea it was to put it online. Secondly, I don't think it's a real big cost to the town to do that, as many benefits to citizens are. And thirdly, I want to say it increases the confidence in the job that was done, not only by the assessor, but by all the people who put it on in full view, because you got 10,000 auditors and loud ones, I'm sure, if you make a mistake. You know, you'd get one from me, I'll tell you, if you made a mistake. So I just want to say it was a good idea to do something like this at such a low cost. And
did we get your name, sir? Did we?
No, I didn't get it.
What's your name, sir?
Carl Schneckenberger. I'm from Strawberry Lane. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate your coming in to say that. Somebody else wish to address council? Yes, ma'am.
Down in Pittsville. I just want to ask a question about this reassessment thing. Do you know what we were as far as the net equalization value for the county prior to this and what we are now? I mean, are we at 100% now, and were we?
We were at, I think they were saying we were down in the 80s or something because we were so low. Yes,
We're in the 80s.
They were this close to ordering us.
Ordering. Okay, so are we now around 100%?
That's right.
We should be right around.
We should
be
close.
That's what our shop for.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
There was another town, and I was talking to and Tom's right, I was talking to one of our audit or tax assessor today, and he was telling me about another town where they had the same problem last year at the same time, and they fought against the tax assessment. They just got cracked with a total revamp. He was just saying, we just got in under the wire with what we're doing. And not only that, but they accepted our tax now, which was huge. That's $500 million in itself.
Yeah, and actually, we were at 112, not down in the 80s. We were over-assessed. That's why we had to.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, not under-assessed. He's correct in that. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council? Yes, sir.
There's just two things that come to mind. Ed Butler from the Village. Two things come to my mind. First of all, I haven't seen anywhere on TV that these meetings have been broadcast for the last few months now.
They're on.
What's happening?
They are on.
Where they at?
They're on Channel 9, our PEG channel, and they're also on the YouTube. You go to the township meetings online.
Wait a minute. You're on YouTube. I'm talking about TV 40. I'm talking about where it comes.
We don't put it on TV 40. We put it on our PEG channel, which is Channel 9 on your TV.
All right, Channel 9. It's not been on there. I've been looking at it. You get the advertisement. It's Monday and Thursday at 1.
Well, you're the first person that has told us that.
We'll double check.
Yeah, we'll double check that in the morning.
It's not there.
The last thing I do is watch it.
It's on, yeah.
Hey, I think they have it ordered out with blocks.
It's got to be a real small block if you can't see the damn thing. Excuse me.
All right, go ahead. What's your second question?
Anyway, the second question is going back to January 22nd. I commend you guys for doing a good job with the airport as far as the problems with the buildings, as far as getting into the tax abatement, and Deputy Mayor too, handling that. But now we have slumlords down there that when these buildings are being rented, they got problems. So what are we doing with the code officers and with the...
Are you talking about at the airport?
Yeah.
What slum?
I just said at the airport.
What slum buildings are you referring to?
Yeah. Which?
Well, the question was actually resolution, let's see, 2014-48. Will you guys pass that?
Well, what slum buildings are you talking about, or slum landlords down there you're talking about?
Well, who owns the airport?
The airport's owned by the county, and it's managed by the DRBA.
Fine. Then what are we doing getting involved with that as far as the buildings themselves when it's owned by the county?
Well, what's your point, Mr. Butler, about, you said about slum. Now, what's the point?
The point is, if the buildings are not, if they're in disrepair and they're real bad.
Which building's in disrepair that's occupied?
The article in the paper stated that, and
I think
the building is going to be lit.
I think what Mr. Butler is referring to is that we as council, in order to move forward on the process of tax abatement, designated the airport area in, quote, need of rehabilitation. And I think that's what you're referring to, that
Yes,
we recognize that there are buildings there which have been unoccupied, unused for some period of time, and there's a lot of wasted opportunity there.
And probably have mold leaks and stuff like that, and then when you get a renter coming in for your tax abatement, you're going to let them fix it, which belongs to the county, to repair it, so they could start their business in there, and then you'll give them tax abatements for that. What's the county doing? They own the place. We don't own it. It's not the township that owns it.
Yeah, but I
How
think
we
you
get
just,
into this
answered the
situation?
question. They're give tax abatements so that they can fix them up.
There's something not right here, the way this thing is set up, in my opinion. Maybe my opinion is wrong, but if I was owner of property, you guys found out there was, or the code officer found out there was a problem with the building, I'd be responsible for it, not a renter coming in to get a tax abatement or to get
Mr. Butler,
And this is a stimulation.
loan.
The township is the taxing authority for the airport. All we're proposing to consider is if someone comes in there, and we're not abating any taxes that are currently being paid by anybody. We're just saying that if you came in there and invested a lot of money into fixing up that building, and in the process increase the value of that building such that your taxes would go up, we would abate those taxes over a 5-year time frame as an incentive for someone to come in and spend money to fix things up, which by definition would bring jobs.
Why don't the owners fix it up? Because
Well,
I'm saying to you,
well, that's
the
where-
owners of the property. It's not the
There's
renter.
got to be a couple, this is a long journey, including ordinances and
It's a
everything else.
long journey, and what happens is the people of this township, the taxpayers, will wind up picking up the difference of your ratables instead of the people that own the property
Right now, there's zero tax coming from those buildings, zero.
this year.
So, yes, so if we get someone to rent it, they're gonna come in, they're coming to an empty garage, they're putting their stuff in it. So what we're gonna do is slowly build the tax up, let them build their business to get jobs in here and for it to be successful, so we get taxes in the future.
This sounds good, but you know what?
But
We're not the owners.
it's not
of that.
coming out of your pocket.
We're not the owners of that airport. The owners should be actually taken care of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good night.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion.
Resolution number 2014-63. A resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. This is to discuss the cases Lower Township versus Paul Baldini, Carolyn Grant versus James Riddle et al., and the MUA pending litigation and matters falling within attorney-client privileges with respect to these subjects.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.